Hello, Dental 18 listeners. This is Kiera, and welcome to the podcast today. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope today's a great day for you. And today we're going to dig into quarterly meetings, traction style. So this is based on the framework by Gino Wickman and Traction. I've talked about them before. I used to talk about them a lot more, and I feel like it's been a hot minute since we brought this up. There's tons of episodes on quarterly meetings. Quarterly meetings are one of my favorite things, and the annual planning, and how to do this, because practices who run like this, who operate like this, they truly do so great, like honest to goodness, so great. And I'm so excited for you to learn how to do these quarterly meetings. They're, to me, they're like the guiding principles of a freaking successful practice. So I hope you're excited about it. A lot of practices skip these, or they run them very loosely. And I want to help you learn how to run these very effectively, very efficiently, what they should look like, what you can have. I've been running these for, I don't know, 7 years plus. I've learned a lot through the ways. I have somebody who helps coach our meetings because I used to self-implement myself, and it's been so beneficial to have somebody help, and how much my perspective has changed by having somebody help run them who knows how to do them so well. I love doing this. Yes, we've been trained by Traction. We are not Traction ourselves. We do portions of it, but we do Dental 18's version of it. And what I've heard from offices that work with us on them is they love that we have the dental background too. So we're able to help solve a lot of their issues, a lot of their problems, but to give the clarity, to give the confidence in these. So I'm excited. We're going to kind of go through how to run a quarterly meeting to get clarity, alignment, and accountability. And that's what it's ultimately for. And to, I feel like, give simplicity too. Because once you know like what you're supposed to work on for the quarter, everybody's now aligned. Everybody's rowing together. So for that, I just want you guys to, well, I'll kind of walk you through a whole journey of how to do this. So number one, I want you just to go back on last quarter. And how did last quarter go for you? What worked? What didn't work? What got done? I think right now you don't even know what happened. Well, it might be time for you to start looking into adding quarterly meetings to your plate. If you do know, rock on. How did you know that? Does your whole team know how you did? Does the whole leadership team know how you did? And then what are you working on this quarter? Do you know, is there a focus? Is there a plan? And so what we're supposed to do is, and I do this with lots of offices, and honestly, offices that get this, the leadership team gets more honest conversations, more accountability, more peer-to-peer accountability, more ownership, and the whole organization goes. So the way I break it down is your annual goal is like a mountain. So it's this huge mountain that we're trying to climb. And each quarter are the big boulders to build up that mountain. So the rocks, and then we have little pebbles and to-dos of the day in, day out. And so every quarter we need to dedicate a full day, yes, a full day, where we actually break away, the leadership team does. And then the leadership team builds what they feel the next quarter needs to be. And then they take it and break it back down per departments. So that's kind of like my favorite way to do this. So what we do is we have our mountain, our annual goals, where we're going. We know where we're headed. And then from there, we're going to break it down and build those smaller rocks. So when we're going into a quarterly, we look at where we are based on where we want to be for the year. How did last quarter go? What were the wins? What were the losses? We started having people grade the quarter in the leadership team, and that's been real fun. And that's just to see if everybody's aligned. So how do we do on an A, B, C, D? Did we accomplish the things that we set out to do? Are we on track for the year of where we wanted to be? What are we seeing from all of that? And what lessons did we learn that we should either do again or not do? I think that's so paramount when I'm going into leadership departments and working on them with these quarterlies, is to see like, what did we do really well and what did we not do? And what should we do again and what should we not do again? And when you break it down like that, it's so incredible. And then you go into building your next 90-day plan, if you will, is what these quarterly meetings are. What are the most important 3 to 5 things that have to get done this next quarter that are going to take us 3 months, that are big boulders to help us reach the top mountain point that we've all agreed to is where we want to get to by the end of this year? So if our goal this year is to produce 3 million, we got to break that down by quarters. We got to have projections. Obviously, not every quarter is going to be the same based on the ups and downs within a practice. That's something very common. Usually December is not as high. September is not as high. So let's make sure that we're on track for that. Then we're looking at our overhead. We're looking at big initiatives. So maybe it's an operations manual. Maybe it's hiring an associate. Maybe it's getting all of our assistants CPR certified. Maybe it's getting all of our assistants to where they can do oral surgery, whatever it is. There's big initiatives. Maybe we need to bring billing in-house. Maybe we need to outsource billing. Maybe we need to figure out medical billing. Those are big initiatives that are going to move an organization forward exponentially depending upon your practice's needs. So then we break it down. And what I love to do is when we build these 90-day plans, not just have people like what I used to do, and this is something I've learned that I think can really help you on a quarterly, is I don't just set up like, we need to get an operations manual done in 90 days. No. What is, and this comes from the book Come Up for Air, what is the definition of done? So that means that every department needs to have a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly skeleton. We need to have 20 protocols done per person for all the different departments. That's what the definition of done, of getting this operations manual done in 90 days looks like. What does onboarding an associate look like, or onboarding a front office team member? It means that they know our company core values, they know our company mission, and that they're able to independently do X, Y, and Z. Well, what's awesome is when we have a definition of done, now everybody knows what that goal is. Is that realistic to get done in 90 days, and what the focus is? Now, when I start working with teams, depending upon the size of it, a lot of times rocks are individual and they're individual department focused. But as organizations get larger and larger, sometimes we do what's called like a rallying cry, or like a centralized focus. So maybe it's that this whole quarter, the focus is getting everybody up on par for operations manual. And that's what we're all going to focus on. If we just got that thing done amongst all departments, the whole organization would move faster. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. I've just found that depending upon the size of the organization and where they're located and what they're focused on, sometimes that whole collective initiative is the right thing to do. Other times the departments need individual focuses. So once we get those rocks or these big boulders with a 90-day plan, with a definition of done, who's doing what, is this realistic? Do we have the capacity to do it? Then from there, you move into like solving issues and resolving. And if you set really, really good rocks and quarterly 90-day plans, what I found is a lot of times the issues actually break apart and there's not as many issues, and we solve a lot of the issues because they're fixed in our 90-day plan. And it's so incredible. And so like really having solid ways to solve issues, to set this up, and then we work through the issues. That's one thing I love about being a consultant running these, is because we have so many resources. So it's like, oh, we're struggling with scheduling. Great. We have scheduling templates. We're struggling with hiring this person. Great. We already have that. We're struggling with this 30-60-90 onboarding. Great. We already have that for you. We're scheduling with hygiene capacity. Great. We have solutions for that. So helping offices then learn how to solve issues independently is also really beautiful, and what the process is for that and how can we do this in different ways that we can make this even better for the offices is something so good. So when you walk out of your quarterly 90-day plan, you should have, one, how did we do last quarter? Two, where are we at for the entire year? What does that look like? Are we on track? Are we off track? And if we're off track, do we have a plan to get back on track with our 90-day plan? What every person and every department is doing for these next 90 days, and they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, with a time frame, with a definition of done on all of them. And they're truly the most important things. We've solved issues. We have massive clarity, and all of us agree to have healthy debates. And then what we do is we track it every single week. So it becomes so clarifying, and especially for practices that are, I think, more obsessive with trying to get so many things done. What this forces you to do is to prioritize, to focus. Now, owners, a lot of times, like myself included, I have so many great ideas, and I always think like, this is so great, and I want to do X, Y, Z, and all these different things. Well, what I found is that actually is really hard for my team to ever feel like they're making progress, they're making traction. There's nothing for them to really do. And so with the quarterly plan, all my great ideas get like pinned for next time, because the 90-day plan's rolled out. Now, sometimes things happen, like we might lose a team member unexpectedly. We might have other things that come up. But if I do this really, really well and my quarterly plan is really set up right, then we shouldn't stray even when things happen. And the goal is that 80% of your boulders or your 90-day plans are accomplished every single quarter. And your office manager, your regional, is responsible and accountable for making sure those like get across the goal line. And so I love working with offices on this. I love setting up. It takes 8 hours. So you start out with some fun, like trust building or leadership growth things, or how you start. We review the quarter. We look to see how that goes for everybody. We give it a rating of how we did it. Then after that, we go through our vision of where the company's going, our core values. Are those all in alignment? We check to see if our team's all in alignment. Do we have any people we need to rise up or rise out? We review that. We look to make sure our accountability or org chart is correct and that we've got right players, things are clear for all of it. So to me, it's just a good like housekeeping every single quarter. Then we build our 90-day plan. We overcome obstacles, we solve issues, and then we go to work that next quarter and we check it every single week. And saying that seems so simple. And that's actually why I love Traction. That's why I love this model. It's why I love the cadence of it. But what's really amazing is when you build the clarity with the quarterly, with the plan, and you're working on those healthy debates, the peer-to-peer, the ownership, that's when you really start to win. That's when you start to win as an organization. That's when you start to build trust amongst your leaders. That's when you start to make sure that you're really focused on where you want to go. And so I'm just so obsessive about it. This is what people do in large organizations. And when I go to conferences and I talk to really brilliant businesses, they're all running on this. And so I'm like, if this is what the best of the best are doing, and I do think it's the easiest, the most consistent, the easiest to follow. But when I said at the beginning, I used to self-implement and I used to run these meetings, and having somebody come in and run them who's not me has allowed me to sit in the owner seat, to sit in the CEO seat, where I don't have to sit here and think about running it, but I can actually sit back and I can look and watch my leadership team evolve. I can watch the different pieces. I can really, truly observe. I can think. I'm not having to sit here and make sure we're putting things together and I'm pushing my own initiatives, but I have somebody who's there that can see my team from a perspective I can't see them from. And it's such an amazing experience. And so I just strongly recommend, if you haven't done it, start implementing it. If you need help, reach out, hello@thedentalllyteam.com. We do this for so many offices, and it's something just really magical to be able to help you get the clarity. And offices that have implemented have told me, like, we just feel alignment, we feel traction, we feel clarity. Quarters are not as hard. It's easier to hit goals and expectations. All of that becomes easier. And so I just encourage you to try it, to commit to putting it into place. And this is something where if we can help you guys set it up and to run in for you, it's something that we do. So reach out, hello@thedentalllyteam.com. But truly, this is something that I think you, your organization, and every team member deserves. And then you go break it down in departments and we make sure that it's clear, it's tracked, it's measured, and it's focused. And you're actually able to like move the company forward so much. So all those big to-do projects that you've always wanted to get done, this is how you get them done. So don't hesitate. Don't wait. Be sure to commit to your practice. Start with the quarterlies. This is how to like a quick overview of how to run them. There's more in depth. You can reach out, ask questions. But truly, you, your practice, and your whole leadership team and your whole team deserve to have this. Now, if your team's small, that's okay. You can actually start with your whole team. We can get alignment that way. If your team's larger, you can move it into leadership meetings. So there's a certain spot where I actually move it that's recommended. But other times, a lot of it is actually like open to the whole team. And there's strategy in both ways to do it. So reach out, hello@thedentalllyteam.com. Commit to running amazing quarterlies. And just get it done, guys. That's what this is about. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, thanks for listening. And I'll catch you next time on the Dentally Team podcast.